Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahavidyam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. We will chant Totakashtaka. Lead and follow. Viditakhila Shastra Sudha Jaladhe Mahitopanishad Kathitarthanidhe Hridaye Kalaye Vimalam Charanam Bhavashankara Deshikame Sharanam Bhavashankara Deshikame Sharanam Karuna Varunalaya Palaya Maam Bhavasagara Dukkha Viduna Hridam Rachitakhila Darshana Tattvavidam Together Bhavashankara Deshikame Sharanam Bhavashankara Deshikame Sharanam Bhavata Janata Suhita Bhavita Nijabodha Vicharana Charumate Kalayeshwara Jiva Vivekavidam Bhavashankara Deshikame Sharanam Bhava eva bhavaniti me nitaram Samajayata cetasi kautukita Mama varaya moha mahajaladhim Bhavashankara Deshikame Sharanam Sukrite dhikrite bahudha bhavato Bhavita samadarshana lalasata अतिदीनमिमं परिपालय माम्
अतिदीनमिमं परिपालय मां भवशङ्कर देशिक मे शरणं भवशङ्कर देशिक मे शरणम्
जगतीमवितुं कलिताकृतयो
जगतीमवितुं कलिताकृतयो
विचरन्ति महामहसच्छलतः
विचरन्ति महामहसच्छलतः
अहिमांशुरिवात्र विभासि गुरो
महिमांशुरिवात्र विभासि गुरो भवशङ्कर देशिक मे शरणं भवशङ्कर देशिक मे शरणम्
गुरुपुङ्गवपुङ्गवकेतनते
गुरुपुङ्गवपुङ्गवकेतनते
समतामयतां नहि कोऽपि सुधीः
समतामयतां नहि कोऽपि सुधीः
शरणागतवत्सलतत्त्वनिधे
शरणागतवत्सल तत्त्वनिधे भवशङ्कर देशिक मे शरणं भवशङ्कर देशिक मे शरणम्
विदितानमया विशदैककला
विदितानमया विशदैककला
न च किञ्चन काञ्चनमस्ति गुरो
न च किञ्चन काञ्चनमसि गुरो
द्रुतमेव विधेहि कृपां सहजाम्
द्रुतमेव विधेहि कृपां सहजां भवशङ्कर देशिक मे शरणं भवशङ्कर देशिक मे शरणम्
भवशङ्कर देशिक मे शरणम् सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्. Let us chant the first verse together. Ananta samsāra-samudratara naukayitābhyām gurubhaktitābhyām vairāgya-samrājyada-pūjanābhyām namo namah Shri Guru-Padukābhyām namo namah Shri Guru-Padukābhyām. So yesterday we were seeing the glory of Guru Padukas, the one who worships them. What happens to them? The mind becomes purified. Such a purified mind is able to detect the goodness in Guru. Such a mind is inspired by a Guru. Such a subtle mind is able to detect the subtle virtues of the Guru. And then what happens? Guru Bhakti Dabhyam. Guru Bhakti enters into our heart. We become inspired by the presence of that Guru. We also develop a deep desire to become like Guru. We also develop that desire to cultivate all the noble virtues of the Guru. Then what happens? Naturally, when you have intense desire, that intense desire is fulfilled. That is how the cosmos is designed. The cosmos is designed to fulfill our desires. So then what happens? Vairagya samrājyada pujanabhyam. So this desire to cultivate the virtues, these virtues, they get imbibed in us. The virtues like viveka, vairagya, etc. All those noble virtues which are necessary to gain the highest knowledge. All those virtues, they enter into our heart. The heart becomes fit to gain the highest knowledge. And then you gain the highest knowledge. And then what happens after gaining the highest knowledge? When the highest self-knowledge is gained, liberation is the result. Ananta, samsāra-samudra tara. You cross over this infinite ocean of transmigration. You are liberated from the birth-death cycle. So, develop Guru Bhakti, cultivate these noble virtues, prepare the heart, gain the knowledge and be free. So, this is the journey of a seeker. Now here, what is the necessary condition for liberation? The necessary condition for liberation is desire for liberation, isn't it? Unless you desire it, you will not get liberated. By chance liberation, there is no such thing. In this world, you will not get anything unless you deeply desire it. So the first step in gaining liberation is desire for liberation. But for desiring liberation, you must value liberation. Unless you value a thing, you will not desire it, isn't it? But to value liberation, what is the necessary condition? The necessary condition is you must understand the pain of bondage. This universe is very strange. The value of a thing you understand only when just the opposite happens to you. When is food valued? When you are troubled by hunger, isn't it? When is water valued? When you are troubled by thirst. When do you value victory? When you are troubled by defeat. When do you value your near and dear ones? When you are separated from them. The sweetness of union is possible only when you taste the bitterness of separation. You see, this is life. In every field it is the same thing. When do you value life? When you come out of when you come out from the verge of death, you start valuing life. Isn't it? If even all the time there is joy and peace, etc., you don't value peace. Have you observed? This is always true. It is like eating ice cream. First 2-3 spoons you enjoy. After that you are just eating to finish it. Have you observed? You are not enjoying it. Because constantly when something good is given, familiarity breeds contempt. You take it for granted. There is no more joy. There is a thing with you, very precious thing, you don't value it. But when it is lost, you become miserable. When again it comes back, you are happy. Lost and found things are very precious. You value a thing only when you lose that thing, only when you are painfully aware of the absence of that thing. This is a law. So therefore, coming back to our topic, what is the question? When do we value liberation? Liberation is valued only when we go through the pain of opposite. What is the opposite of liberation? Bondage. So we have to be painfully aware of bondage. This is a necessary condition to sincerely desire liberation. What is the name, Sanskrit term for that desire for liberation? Mumukshutvam. So what is the necessary condition of mumukshutvam? Remember, it is being aware that you are in a painful situation. To the extent you are painfully aware of your misery, to the extent you are painfully aware of your suffering, to that extent your desire for liberation becomes intense. Now the question is, how to make this painful awareness of bondage intense? There is only one way: paying attention to the happenings of life. Paying attention and thinking deep, not shallow thinking, deep thinking. We are trying to understand the term samsara. Otherwise we are using samsara. What is samsara? Samsaranam is samsara. Samsara means constant change. What is life? Life is but constant change. Change at the BMI level, change at the OET level. Now the question is this change a pleasant change or a painful change? We have never even thought about this, isn't it? First of all, what are the changes we go through? First, we are in the womb of the mother. That is one stage. Then we are born from that womb, the stage of infancy. So change has happened, and that is another stage. Then we are in our childhood stage. Then we come to the teenage stage. Then we come to that adulthood. Then we come to old age. So these are the changes in one life. So changes at the BMI level and also changes at the outer world level, OET, objects, emotions, thoughts. So now the question is, are these changes pleasant or painful? As seekers of liberation, we will have to think about this. Otherwise, liberation, desire itself will not come. If your analysis is, this change is wonderful, I love this change, this world is a beautiful place. If this is your desire, you will never desire liberation. If this is your thinking, if you consider this world as a beautiful place, an enjoyable place, full of happiness, nice things, if this is your analysis about life, know for sure you will never desire. Why should you get liberated? You are happy. Very many people say, ask this question. I don't want liberation, they say. Why should I need spirituality? Because I don't want liberation. Why I don't want? Because I am happy. Now, you can't force liberation to such a person. He doesn't want liberation. So, if you are a seeker of liberation, what is the necessary condition? You must analyze life and conclude that this life is not pleasant, it is painful. And it's a fact of life also. So therefore, to understand this samsara, we will have to analyze this samsaranam. Every stage we have to analyze, go deep, and then ultimately conclude that this stage is painful. Swamiji, then the talk will be a tragic talk, Swamiji. We all will become sad. Yes, my job is to make you sad. My job is not to entertain you. I am not a joker here to entertain you. Please understand. If you want entertainment, there are so many other ways. You can go to movies, zoo, so many things. Here there is no entertainment. Here the job is to make you a serious seeker of liberation. So are you ready for it? You may become miserable. If you don't want misery, you can go out. Door is always open. We must learn to think. We must learn to develop our viveka shakti. Viveka means to discriminate, to think. Even to think, there is a training needed. And this is what our scriptures do. They train us to think. Because there are so many wrong ways of thinking. Wrong ways of thinking will only bind you, whereas right way of thinking will liberate you. Are you ready for it? So let us start our journey, the journey of samsaranam. So where should we start? In the womb of the mother. The condition of the child in the womb of the mother. What is the condition of the child? Is that child happy there or not? So we don't know because we don't remember. So then we have to resort to scriptures. So in Bhagavatam, in Kapilopadesham, there is a description of the child in the womb. It is said that this child is bitten by so many worms, microorganisms, and the skin is very tender. So therefore the pain is horrible. And it is said that mother, she eats all kinds of food, acidic, all khara, spicy things. And when this mother takes all these kind of food, the child also suffers. Because the child is tender. It gets affected by all this. Right? And it is said there, the child is so miserable. And at that time, now this statement which I am going to make is based on faith. It is up to you whether to believe or not, but I fully believe because Bhagavatam has said it. It is said somewhere at 7 or 8 months, this child is miserable there. It prays to the Lord. It is said Bhagavan makes that child see what all past karmas this child has done, because of which it is going to be born. There is a reason for birth, isn't it? So what all miserable things he has done in life, because of which he is going through all this suffering, it is said Bhagavan gives a flashback to the child. See, this is why you are suffering. So then the child prays to the Lord, "Oh Lord, in the future, I will not make this mistake. But I am suffering in this womb. Please push me out. I am getting suffocated here. Please liberate me from this womb. Bhagavan, I promise you, the moment I come out of this womb, I will take your name. Throughout my life, I will remember you. I will never do this mistake which I have done earlier of forgetting you. Because of which, I am going to be reborn." So there is a prayer, there is a stuti of this child. This comes in Kapilopadesham. So then Bhagavan blesses the child, and by then it is 9 months. and then the child comes out. And it is said the moment the child comes out, he forgets this promise which he has given to. Because now the pain is not there. It's always in pain that our prayers are very sincere and heartfelt. You always observe this. Prayers are sincere and heartfelt when there is intense pain. So I cannot doubt what is said in Bhagavatam. Because after all, it is not this baby. There is a particular sukshma sharira there. It is a particular jīvātmā. He has got so many vasanas, samskaras. It is the expression of those vasanas. So the child comes out. Right. Now after the child coming out, now I am sure so many doctors are there here, you know. What is the condition? He comes out crying. Crying, what does it indicate? If the fellow doesn't cry, you give too. Isn't it? Crying is necessary. Otherwise the fellow will not breathe. He will die. So, that crying itself indicates the pain. It is said that the amount of pain a person goes through while dying, it is the same amount of pain the fellow goes through while taking birth. This is what they say. Janma and Mrityu, both are painful. So it is this pain which makes that child cry. He comes out crying. Fine, he is in the cradle. Now what is the condition of cradle? There is he happy? He is not happy. He is bitten by mosquitoes, bitten by bed bugs, etc. And the body immunity is also weak. All kinds of diseases. He is suffering, but he is not able to express his suffering to somebody because language is not there. The only language he knows is crying. And the mother also doesn't understand this language. She misunderstands. She does something else, and the problem is aggravated. Especially the new mothers, the modern mothers do this mistake. They are not able to understand why the child is crying. It's a big problem. So both are miserable. Mother is also miserable. Child is also miserable. A miserable environment is created. Right. I told you the topic of discussion is misery. Okay, the fellow is miserable. I mean, no, that stage also goes. The stage of infancy. Then he grows up, learns to walk. Now that is the most dangerous stage. The fellow is able to move around on all the fours. Very dangerous. Why? Because whatever he gets, he puts it into the mouth. He doesn't know what is good, what is bad. And very many children have died getting suffocated, put something in the mouth, now you can't take it out, you can't breathe, gone. Or some poisonous things are there. It eats, dies. Or nowadays the plug points, what do you call that, sockets are there. The fellow puts some metal thing and then getting electrocuted there. How many types of dangers? That stage is also painful. But as the child grows, say, now the next stage let us discuss about teenage. That is the stage where the king of all vices, he takes birth. Who is the king of all vices? His Holiness Mr. Ego. You will always find how, when you bring up your child, you see the changes. The moment he becomes a teenager, it's very difficult to handle him. Yes or no? Very difficult. When the fellow is small, he comes to Baliviyar, etc. But when the fellow becomes big, he stops coming to all classes. Why? Now he is not ruled by the parents, now he is ruled by His Holiness Mr. Ego. And unfortunately, the society doesn't know how to train a child, how to educate a child when this ego raises its hood. Ego is very dangerous because it completely deludes you. It completely deludes you. Vices are seen as virtues and virtues are seen as vices. This is what the ego does. When the ego grows, if right guidance is not given, you may tend to think that ego is your friend. Whenever somebody praises you, you are happy. Whenever somebody boosts your ego, you are happy. So therefore, what is the source of happiness? Boost your ego. You see, actually what is the source of happiness? Deflating the ego, effacing the ego. But now this fellow thinks boosting the ego is the source of happiness. It is a means to happiness. Right? Whenever I am recognized, I am respected, I am awarded, I am rewarded, I am happy. I feel great about myself. I feel nice about myself. So therefore happiness means boosting the ego. A big wrong formula. And nobody is there to guide him, because this is what the entire world is educating him. He sees the movies. In movies, what do you see? The hero is full of ego and he is very happy. So he says, yes, this is the way to become happy. Now, how to get egoistic joys in life? Egoistic joys come through comparison. I must prove myself to be superior than other, then I am joyful. The sense of superiority complex should come. It gives joy. I score more marks compared to the other fellow, I feel joyful. Yes or no? There is joy. Everybody congratulates me, the relatives, the friends, the family members. I feel nice. I defeat someone, there is a joy. I take revenge upon someone, there is a joy. And I don't know that this is a poisonous joy. It's an egoistic joy. It will end up only in pain. I don't know, because there is nobody to guide me. Because I look around and everybody is enjoying this kind of joy only. So I tend to think that everything is fine with me. So now, in what all ways I try to get these egoistic joys? So as a student, I will try to earn more marks. This is something you all have gone through. Right? The second thing is the looks. I must look more handsome. That also gives a joy. If I am more handsome, more beautiful than others, there is a joy. Well built, there is a joy. That's why you find youngsters going to gym. When the body is strong, well built, I find a joy. It's always the joy of comparison, you see. If you see all these youngsters, where is their maximum attention? Have you observed? It will be upon the hair cutting, the most useless things. They consider the most important things. The color of the skin, the fairness of the skin, the smoothness of the skin, the branded clothes, the branded shoes. All these things we see. The looks. And people go to such extremes. Nowadays, because we have these channels like YouTube, etc., people go to such extreme. There is one lady to have a tender waist. She has operated and removed her ribs. Can you believe? To have a slender waist, because that is considered to be the definition of beauty for women, for men also. Your waist should be tender. So what to do? Remove the ribs. Arey Baba, ribs are given to protect your tender organs inside. Do you know what you are doing? The kidney, the liver, those are tender organs. The Bhagavan, out of his infinite intelligence, has given a rib cage to protect these organs. Now this foolish lady, what is she doing? Removing that cage. Why? For a beautiful look. And all kinds of those silicone implants, etc., to make the body beautiful, attractive. Dangerous things. But what is the root cause? The root cause is ego. I want to be more attractive. I want to be more smart. You see, I don't know that the greatest enemy in me is my own ego. I compare, constantly I compare myself with others. How many youngsters are sad, I can't tell you. Externally is not seen. Every youngster, every teenager is suffering, and they don't know why they are suffering. He sees iPhone. His friend has an iPhone. Now this fellow's father is a poor father. He can't afford a mobile. Now he feels miserable. Because I don't have a phone, I am sad. Because I don't have a, imported motorbike. And then he curses his father. He is not. Forget about being grateful to his father for giving him proper education, etc. He is not seeing the sacrifice of his father. He is saying, it is because I am born to such father that I am suffering. I should have been born to that father. You see. No respect for his own father. Yes or no? So the fellow is sad. The fellow is miserable. He is comparing himself with everyone. He is miserable. Kama is considered to be the greatest enemy. Mahashanaha mahapapma vidyenamiha vairinam. It's the greatest sinner. It will make you commit all kinds of sins. Trividham narakasyedam dwaram nashanam atmanah. Kama krodhas tata lobha tasmat etatrayam tyajet. 3 doorways to hell. Kama, krodha and lobha. When you become a teenager, this lust starts troubling you. You don't know how to handle this. And what is the media projecting? Lust is a beautiful thing. It is an enjoyable thing. It is your friend. Isn't it? What is the hero doing in the movie? Kama and Krodha, embodiment of that is the hero in the movie. Any movie you take, only 2 things, Kama and Krodha. Kama towards the heroine, Krodha towards the villain. Movie is over. And you are seeing these movies and you feel, see what a beautiful heroine he has got. I don't have a girlfriend. And he becomes miserable. His classmate has a girlfriend and he is taking her to all kinds of restaurants in his motorbike. He feels, see, because I don't have good looks, because I don't have attractive personality, nobody loves me, nobody respects me, nobody values me. Very many youngsters are having this kind of problem. And they go into depression. This is the term used, Beautiful terms are used. Depression. And then you go to doctor. What will the doctor do? Depression tablet. For every problem they have one tablet. Forcefully make the mind silent. Silent. Now, is this a solution? This is not a solution. Spirituality has perfect solution, but nobody wants spirituality. You see? To the extent you run away from spirituality, run away from Guru, you had it. That is called samsara. I must describe this samsara because otherwise value of liberation you will not understand. We are suffering, but we are not aware that we are suffering. What will the teenager think? Maybe if I have lot of money, I will be happy. Maybe if I am able to score more marks, I will be happy. So therefore what is necessary? Hard work is necessary. The fool doesn't understand. The problem is somewhere else. Do you know? Suicide rates are increasing in IIT, Indian Institute of Technology, which we consider to be the dream land. Suicide rates are increasing. Why? Is it because the fellow is not brilliant? He is definitely brilliant. Very fact that he has gone there, he is qualified there to study in such prestigious institutions. That itself shows he is quite brilliant. But what is the mistake he does? Throughout his life he has done one mistake. Compare and be happy. I have scored more marks, so therefore he is happy. Compare and be happy. And in the chotu classes, LKG, UKG, you are always first. 10th standard, you are first. But the moment you enter into institutes like Indian Institute of Technology, others are brilliant fellows. Now your habit is compare and compete. You compare and you find that you are a useless. But those fellows are more brilliant. Everywhere you cannot be first. God has created the world in such a way that most of the things you will be lacking. So now he compares and he finds that those people are very brilliant. And now he uses this technology, working hard, but to what extent? How much ever a donkey is trained to race against a horse, can it win? Not possible. We must understand the limitations of BMI. The fellow works hard and he is under stress. He is not able to cope up with the stress, and finally what does he do? The parents also create that stress. The fellow doesn't know anything. He says the best thing is to end life. How many youngsters? So therefore, now I don't want to go on with this teenage story. The point is, that stage is also miserable. It's misery. The parents don't understand. The fellow is miserable. He can't share his problems with the parents. They are not able to understand. No guidance is there. From the society, only wrong guidance. So just imagine the condition of this youngster. Miserable. So the teenage life is made miserable because of this villain called ego. Ego makes you a rank beggar in life. You are a king of beggars. If the ego is ruling you, you will beg for respect, you will beg for peace, you will beg for recognition. And every decision you take in life will be foolish. So this teenager, he grows up. Let us continue because ananta samsara is there. We are still in one only. Okay. Grows up, becomes an adult. Adult means what? Get married, children. Now again, it is the ego which comes into picture. He compares. He has a house, I must have a bigger house. But do you need a bigger house? No, I don't need. But for the ego satisfaction is necessary. He has a car, I must have a bigger car. Oh. So take loans. I can, you have to monthly installments, etc. you have to pay. You are finished. Whole life, now you have to work hard. Just like that, nobody will give you money. That quote, the definition of an egoistic person, it is such a beautiful quote. I love it. An egoistic person buys things which he doesn't want to impress people whom he doesn't like with the money which he doesn't have. I love this quote. How you can create a hell for yourself. Ask an egoistic person. So now he has to work hard. There are targets to be achieved. And there are mouths to be fed. Children are there. Wife is there. He thought marrying will solve all his problems. But then suddenly he understands, she is a bundle of problems. I am already having one bundle. Now problem plus problem, will it be equal to solution? No, it is a double problem. Every time you try to find out some solution from the world, you are jumping from the frying pan to the burning fire. You do something to solve, it's a bigger problem. After marriage, you think children will solve all problems. At least they will give us happiness. Children are born, another headache. Especially the fellow when he becomes a teenager, you had it. Very many people say, I think I shouldn't have this children. Anyway, so I can go on and on and on. I am not getting into that. So now in these family issues also, you are working hard. You have to earn more because a lot of expenses are there. And since you have to work hard, you come back late night. So what happens to your health? The regular routine of sleep and food, everything goes for a toss, and very soon you fall sick. Nowadays, at a very young age, they are getting this BP, sugar, cholesterol, etc. At a very young age, 35, 40, gone. Unhealthy lifestyles. Time is not there, so there was no time to cook. So therefore, junk food, order it. Swiggy, Zomato, they are waiting. And they are all junk food, tasty junk food. And very soon, your health goes for a toss. Isn't it? Every time you think this is a solution, that creates another bigger problem for you. So lifelong you are working hard to save wealth. Health is gone and all the wealth goes for health. Horrible. Okay, then what happens when he becomes old? Old age is horrible. Vruddhastavat chinta saktah. It's horrible. Throughout his life, he has pampered his ego. So by the time he is old, what is the condition of his ego? It has grown as a huge monster. And that is the time when each sense organ is taken away from you. Can't see properly, can't hear properly, can't sit, can't stand. Somebody has to hold you, and this fellow becomes miserable. Because throughout his life, he has been independent. And now, even to stand up, he has to depend on others. For an egoistic person, depending on others is like poison. You understand? Always these old people come and say, Swamiji, bless me. Anayasena maranam vinadainyena jivan. Swamiji, may I not depend on others? Yes. I am not scared of death, but I am scared of this. Suppose I lie down on the bed. Even for nature's calls, if I have to depend. Oh! You understand? What is giving this pain? It's the ego. How can I depend on others? Those were the people who were dependent on me. Today I have to depend on them. Oh, unthinkable. It's misery. That person becomes so miserable, especially now hearing capacity is gone. Family members are all discussing and they are joking and laughing, etc. He can't hear. He is not able to participate in the discussion. He feels left out. He feels nobody cares for me. Everybody is ignoring me. Nobody wants me. I am a useless furniture piece in a corner. You see, his own thinking. Major decisions are taken in the family and this person is not even, and he feels, see, there was a time when all these people were obeying my instructions, but today nobody wants me. There is a deep sense of loneliness. Vruddhastavat chinta saktah. Now that pain, is it giving wisdom to him? No. He's saying, today I am suffering because maybe if I had more money, this day wouldn't have come. Maybe if I have done this day would. No, he is thinking. So where is he finding solution? He is finding solution in the world only. He is not aware that the ego is the problem. Because nobody has told him. He has never attended satsang also. Forget about attending satsang, he did not even hear this term satsang. Throughout his life, he was busy making money only. Old age, when this problem comes, he is full of chinta. Chinta means worries, anxieties. Why this worry? After death, I will lose everything. Whole of my life I have invested to earn all this. The land, the property, the money, the bank balance, my near and dear ones. What happens when the death comes? Everything is taken away. He is worried. He doesn't want to die. Now, what kind of thoughts he is having? He is still desiring the world. If only I made this change in my life. If only I had not made this mistake in my life. I would have been happy. Fool! So at the time of death, what is the kind of desire? I should have improved this or that, isn't it? So what will happen to him in the future? Will he get liberated? No. he will come back to the world. Why? Because desiring something of the world, he has left the body. So the cosmic law is, whatever you desire, you will get. So since you are desiring the world, at the time of death you are desiring the world, so in the next birth you will get the world. Try to understand the logic. Why are you thinking of the world? Because you think world is a solution for your problem. Make this adjustment, make that adjustment, make this decision, that decision. All foolishness. So then he is given a next birth. In the next birth, the environment is designed in such a way to fulfill that unfulfilled desire with which he had died. So the environment becomes conducive. Again he starts the same thing. Infancy, childhood, teenage, same, story is the same. Misery. Again at the time of death he says, I shouldn't have done that, I think I should have done this. So many regrets. Again he dies, thinking of what? Samsara. So where should he go? Come back to samsara. Now this is called ananta samsara. All this I told to describe ananta. Please understand. You are miserable. You are constantly miserable. Even when the situations are changing, you are miserable in different ways. You are a highly creative person. So creative that you can create situation for your own misery. Every changing situation, you create a situation, you are miserable. Misery continues, birth continues. And how long? Ananta. Ananta means what? Not millions and billions, but infinite. No, Swamiji, that is an exaggeration. Just imagine. Today we are alive, isn't it? Today we have the body. How many years have passed? Not in this birth. How many years have passed? It's infinite, yes or no? The very fact that we are in the body shows that we have never been liberated. What does it mean? Infinite period of time we have been suffering. The very fact that we are having the body shows that we are not liberated. It is impossible that once upon a time you are liberated, again they got bound. After bondage again, no. If you are liberated, it is a permanent liberation. So if this is a law, the very fact that we are in this body shows that we have never been liberated. From how long? From infinite past. We are again and again doing the same mistake, and we are not learning. Balastavat kridasaktah, tarunastavat tarunisaktah, vruddhastavat chintasaktah. This goes on and on and on. It's ananta samsara. Not knowing where the problem is. What is the problem? Problem is my own ego. So instead of making corrections here, where am I making corrections? I am making corrections in the outer world. I am trying to create a conducive environment around me throughout my life. Where is the problem? Problem is here. I try to improve the environment. Now this is the way we try to find happiness. Always you observe this. This is the way the mind cheats us. Either the mind is busy improving the environment, or the mind is busy escaping from the environment. How do we escape from the environment? Lot of stress. So what do? Evening, one peg. Is that a solution? Or nearest some restaurant has come. Let us go and have something. This is how you just observe. Saturdays and Sundays all the malls are full. What is it? Escapism. You have a lot of work related stress. You want to come out of this stress. What is the way? Escape from that environment. Go for picnic 2-3 days. Go out somewhere. Are you solving the problem or are you escaping the problem? You are escaping. Those who know Those who study the mind, they know it. It's called as technique of escapism. You divert the attention of the mind somewhere, and for some time you find a relief. And you think this is the real way for relief. No. This is escapism. Watch a movie for 3 hours on relaxation and you think you have solved the problem. No, problem is still there. So constantly mind is doing what? Either improve the environment, earn more money, etc., more comforts, more conveniences, or if you are not able to handle the situation, ignore it, escape from it. Both are not the solution. It may give a temporary relief, accept it, but it's not a solution. And since we are not finding the right solution, the problem continues, birth after birth, because real solution you have not come across. You are only escaping the problem. How long can you escape? Ananta samsāra. You have been escaping. How long? From the infinite past. You understand? Birth after birth, and you are miserable. In Bhagavatam there is a beautiful story. So here was this person who was walking along a forest, and suddenly a lion chases him. He runs fast, and he did not observe there was a well, and he fell into the well. As he was falling, he catches hold of one branch of a tree. No, he is hanging. The branch is almost going to break. It is breaking. If he falls, death is sure, because it is quite deep. Even if he don't die, there are what you call poisonous snakes, etc. there waiting to finish him. If he comes out, lion is waiting there. Branch, anyway it is breaking. And at that time, he observes that while falling, he had knocked out one beehive, and the honey is dripping. And the fellow, he forgets everything. He forgets the well, the snake, the lion, and he sticks his tongue out to lick that honey. Now we may say, what a foolish fellow. We are doing the same thing. Who is that person? We. Death is certain. Few more years and we are not there. It is for sure. And what are we doing? Sticking our tongue out to get little pleasures here. Isn't it? Time is wasted. We have no value for time, no value for life. You are going to die. Something terrible is going to happen. Are you prepared for death? Right. So this way we are living. And how do we die? Prana prayana samaye kapha vata pittehi gandhavarodhana vidho smaranam kutaste. People think that, last time on Narayana, Ajamila is our role model, you know. Narayana, everything is over. Nothing is going to happen. Prana prayana samaya, at that time when that prana is going to leave, kapha vata pittehi, when you are struggling with kapha, phlegm, vata, wind, pitta, bile, you are struggling, there is so much of pain. At that time you think you will remember God? Impossible. If throughout your life you have trained your mind in thinking about the world, at the time of death also, the mind will think only about the world. The old man was dying. He called his sons. Ramesh? Yes, sir. Yes, father. Is there. Suresh? Yes, father. Umesh? Yes, father. This fellow is on the dying bed. If all the three of you are here, who is there in the shop? The deathbed. His mind is not. He's thinking, who is there in the shop? All of you are here. This is the condition. You understand? Ananta samsāra. So therefore, why I am telling you all this? I telling you all this. As long as we are living ignoring the scriptures, ignoring the wise guidance of the Guru, there is only misery. You may not be aware of it. You may not be consciously aware of it. Or maybe you have taken it for granted. This is the way things are. Everybody is miserable, so let me accept. That is another way. But the moment a person comes to this direction, which direction? Spiritual direction. Because of some punya karma he has done. He comes across some Guru and that guidance comes. Even to appreciate the goodness in the Guru, you must have that purity. Some selfless service, some good action. Then Guru comes in our life. He shows the path. Hey, don't go there. These egoistic joys, they are poisonous fruits. It will kill you. Don't eat. That is not the way. This is the way. Ego effacement is the way. Destroying the ego is the way. He shows the path. And as the ego goes, as the ego dissolves, as the viveka becomes stronger and stronger, vairagya becomes stronger and stronger, you start gaining a divine bliss, the bliss of the self. That bliss of the self is the indication that yes, you are the right path. That inspires you further. Then you invest more and more in spiritual sadhana. More and more hard work, more and more joy. More and more joy, more and more inspiration. And finally, you are liberated. This is how the whole journey is. So the point is this. As sadhakas, as spiritual seekers, how should we train our mind? Every situation, try to see the pain in it. Swamiji, isn't it a pessimistic way of life? It is not pessimistic, it is realistic. Realistic means what? It is the fact of life. Bhagavan, who has created the world, he himself is saying, Anityam asukham lokam imam prapya bhajasvama. This world is what? Anityam asukham. Don't try to search sukham in this world. It is not there. Why are you searching in a place where it is not there? You remember the story of that old lady searching for the needle? You don't know? There was this old lady. She was searching for her lost needle under the street light. So this old lady was searching. So somebody was going, Amma, what are you searching? My needle got lost. He also joined. Slowly a crowd joined. No? Poor lady, she can't see properly. Let us have. Everybody is searching. Searching. A person with common sense says, Amma, where did you lose it? She said, I lost it in my hut. Then why are you searching here? In the hut there is no light. Here there is light. Now, thousands of times we have listened to this story. But what does it mean? Where there is not there, you are searching. So in the same way, where are we searching for sukham? Bhagavan is saying this loka is asukham. This world is full of misery only, and we are searching happiness there. Will you get it? No. Dukkhalayam ashashvatam. See the way Bhagavan is defining this world. Dukkha alayam, an abode of sorrow. An abode of sorrow. There are so many ways in which this samsara is described. One description is the samudra only. What is the common feature between samudra and samsara? Samudra means ocean. Ocean is infinite. In the same way, samsara is also infinite. One comparison. Nobody can swim and cross over the ocean. In the same way, nobody can come out of samsara with his own strength. The more and more you put forth effort, the more and more the ego grows, and the more and more you enter into samsara only. It's like daldal. The more you struggle, the more you enter. The more you sink, the marshy land, etc. It is something like that. So with my own effort, I can't come out. Then in the ocean you have breeze, isn't it? Strong winds. And in that wind, the waves are generated. In the same way, in samsara also there is a breeze. What is this breeze? It is called as the wind of prarabdha. Whatever actions you have done in the past, the results have started coming. Now you have no choice, you have to go through it. So this is the wind of prarabdha, and it creates waves. What are these waves? The ups and downs of life. Joy, sorrow, heat, cold, birth, death, health, disease, honor, dishonor, praise, criticism. So this is the wave. And when the wave goes up, you go high. You go down, you go down. You are helpless. And in that ocean, it's a salty water. You know the nature of salty water? The more you drink, the more you feel thirsty. This is the nature of salty water. The world is also like that. The more you indulge in these pleasures, the more you get addicted to these pleasures. That is how the world is. You can't come out of it. In Bhagavatam, the comparison is, the itching sensation. You scratch and there is some joy. After that, some liquid comes out. It spreads. Again you feel itching. Again you scratch. It again spreads. Little joy is given, lot of pain is given. That is called as scratching business. The world is also like that. Pleasure. You get addicted to pleasure, and in the process you lose everything. Kama rupena kaunteya dushpurena analena cha. It's like fire. The more you put, the more it will never say enough. That's the nature. So in the same way, in that that ocean, you drink this water, you feel more thirsty, and because of thirst, you again want to drink water. Again you drink more thirst, and finally you drown. Now in this ocean, there are aquatic creatures, dangerous creatures like shark, etc. Very dangerous to be in the ocean, isn't it? In the same way, in samsara also there are sharks. We don't know how we are going to die. There are different ways of dying. Some people die by accident, some people die by disease. Some people die in violence and crimes, etc. Varieties. So many dangers are there in this world. They are the aquatic creatures. Now to escape from this ocean, what is the only way? You must have a ship. In the same way, to escape from this samsara, what is the only way? So, nauka idabhyam, the devotion unto the padukas of Guru. Devotion unto God, devotion to Guru. This is the ship. Surrender unto Guru and you can come out. Right? Because it is the Guru who says this, that ego is a problem and he does all that thing to remove that ego. There is a beautiful story of a king called Shah Ibrahim Adam. He was the king of Bokhara, whatever place. So he was an indulgent king, living in all luxuries, comforts. Somewhere he heard about the glory of saints. So suddenly this desire came. I must also realize God. So he was in his palace one day. It is said the bed he used to make, it was a bed of flowers, fragrant flowers. That is the kind of bed he used to lie down. So one day he was just going to his bed and suddenly he heard somebody walking on the palace roof. So there were two people. So one person asked the other and he was overhearing it. Why are you here? One person asked. The other person said, I am looking for my lost camel on the palace roof. So this king could not control. How can you find camel here? Is this the place to search? Then that person said, if you can find God in this, amidst his comforts and luxuries, definitely I can find my camel also here. Suddenly the king woke up. It was a dream. It was a dream. He suddenly woke up, because otherwise who can walk over the roof and all that. And it made him very introspective. On one side he was desiring God. On the other side he was surrounded by all these luxuries, comforts, pleasures. So then he made up his mind. If I have to give up all this, I am ready for it. He was a sincere seeker. So he gave up his kingdom, everything, and he was in search of a guru who can teach him. So in his kingdom he was searching, he did not get. Finally he came to India, because India is known to be the spiritual capital of the world. Every village there is a saint. Any seeker you will find, somewhere or the other they come to India. They are in touch with India. This land is so holy, so holy. Externally you may find all corruption, this and that, but this land is very holy. That's what Swami Vivekananda says. How holy this land is, I came to know only after going to America, to the West, he says that. Now after seeing the West and coming back, every grain of this land is holy to me. That's what he says. It's a fact. So finally this king, he comes to India in search of a guru, and he hears that there is a great master, a realized master. His name is Kabir. Kabir. So he comes to Kabir. He was a weaver. Kabir is a weaver. He says, sir, please accept me as your disciple. Kabir said, no, you are a king. Where is a weaver and where is a king? You will not be able to adjust with our life and all. We live a simple, humble life. So, please. But that person, no. I have not come here as a king. I have come here as a beggar. I am a beggar of knowledge. Please bless me. Please accept me as your shishya. Kabir was not in a mood to take, but his wife, seeing his, that ardent desire. Kabir's wife is Loima. So she saw this. So this fellow was not going at all. He was there outside only, waiting again and again. So this motherly heart melted in compassion. So she told Kabir, oh Lord, why don't you accept him? It appears that he is very sincere. Why don't you accept him? So she said it. Finally Kabir accepted him. So Ibrahim was accepted. 6 years passed. So one day, Loima came to Kabir and said, see, 6 years he has been with us. He has been doing everything what we said, weaving cloth, etc. Why don't you initiate him into this path of knowledge? Kabir said, no, he is not yet ready. The vessel is not yet clean. Loima said, what are you saying? For me, he appears to be a wonderful person. So then Kabir said, you can test him. Do one thing. Morning when you sweep the room, all the dust, garbage, everything, you collect it in one vessel. And when he goes out into the street, just put it on his head. Do this. And then observe what he does. So Loima, she did exactly the same thing. Next day she collected all the garbage. She was ready. And when the fellow was walking along the street, put it exactly on his head. He was bathed in garbage. Everything, kitchen waste, everything put together. At that time, suddenly he became furious. He looked up. He didn't see anyone because she immediately withdrew. If this was Bokaro, you would have known who I am. You wouldn't have dared to do this. Suddenly it came out. Lohima was watching. She came and told Kabir, this is what happened. Kabir said, I told you, no, he is not fit. Another 6 years passed. By then, Ibrahim understood, I have made a mistake. Because that reacting tendency, shouting back, this is a clear indication of a strong ego. He understood that. After making the mistake, he understood. Then he started working more and more. 6 years passed. Kabir himself told Lohima, now the vessel is fit. Lohima said, how do you know? I don't see any difference. No, Kabir is a realized master, he knows. He said, do the same thing once again. So the next day, again, kachara was collected. It was put. Ibrahim was bathed in this dirt. He did not even look up. He just said, whoever has done this, may God bless you. Because in fact, I am such an arrogant, egoistic person, I deserve worse than this. So what you have done is not wrong. You have done the right thing. He blessed that person and he continued walking. Lohima told this to Kabir. Kabir said, see, I told you, he's fit now. Now there is no ego in him. So then, very soon he was initiated into the spiritual knowledge and very soon he became realized. He went back to his kingdom, but not as a king now, with torn clothes, etc., as a beggar. So one day, he was sitting near this river Tigris, mending his torn clothes with a small needle. At that time, now it was more than 12 years now, his minister saw him and he recognized him. This is our king. He immediately came. Sir, you are the king of Bokhara, isn't it? Sir, I have recognized you. Please come. We are waiting you. Your children, your sons, they have grown up. I have trained them in all warfare. They will be so happy to see their father. And we will be so happy to see you as the king. Sir, please come. At that time, this Ibrahim, he had this needle with him, isn't it? He just threw that needle in that river. And he said, can you take it back? Now the river was deep and the current was fast. Can you take it back? That minister did not understand anything. He said, no, I can't take it back because it's quite deep. Can anyone take back here? No, I don't think anyone can take it back because just impossible. Such a deep river. He just closed his eyes, remained there for a few minutes of prayer, and suddenly one small fish comes with this needle in its mouth and places the needle at the feet of Ibrahim. And then Ibrahim says, you want me to come back to that small kingdom? The Lord has given me the kingdom of the entire cosmos. The Lord who is the Lord of all beings, the animals, birds. That Lord has given me the biggest kingdom I can ever imagine. Now you want me to come back? No, for one thing. The king in search of whom you have come, that king is not there now. He's gone. Just like you cannot retrieve a drop of water which has merged with the ocean, you can't take it back again. In the same way, this individuality has merged in that infinite. Now there is no king here now. There is only he. So therefore, my sincere request to you is, go back. Let my sons rule the kingdom. I have no interest in it. Leave me to my fate. And the minister goes back. So this is the story. So what did Kabir do? He destroyed that ego. So the point is this. What is the miracle which the Guru does? He is not going to change your external environment. No. The knowledge he gives is you have to change. The greatest enemy in you is your own ego. Destroy it. If you can do this, then you are liberated. This guidance comes only from Guru. What does Ramana Maharshi say? Ahamapetakam nijavibhanakam mahadidam tapo ramanavadiyam. Greatest tapas in this world is only one. What is it? Efface your ego. Aham apetakam. Destroy this ego and allow the self, that God, to shine forth. It is always there. It is this cloud of this ego which has covered the Son of God. So what you have to do? Efface, ego effacement. And that only we can do. Nobody else can do. Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi says this is the greatest tapas we can do. And this is what the Guru guides us, helps us in doing. Right? So this is about the first verse. Now somebody says, "Oh Guru, I am not mature enough to desire liberation." Let me be frank. All this whatever you have said, it doesn't make any sense to me, because let me tell you frankly, I don't desire liberation. I have a lot of family problems, Bhagavan. I have a lot of worldly problems. Can these Guru Padukas help me in handling my day-to-day problems? So Guru said, yes, that is also. For that also you can contact Guru Padukas only. It has the power to remove all your worldly problems. How? That we will see tomorrow. So the next verses are about how handling worldly problems. Liberation is too much. For the beginners, for the beginners of spirituality, it is not liberation which is bothering them. What bothers them is day-to-day problems. So, Guru Padukas, devotion unto Guru Padukas, how they help us solve these problems, that is the topic in the 2, 3, 4, 5 verses that we will see tomorrow. Guru Brahma Rupa Jano Shiva Ka Swarupa Mano. Guru ke saman nahi dosra jahan mein. Guru ke saman nahi dosra jahan mein. Guru Brahma Rupa Jano Shiva Ka Swarupa Mano. Guru Brahma Rupa Jano Shiva Ka Swarupa Mano. पाप से बचावे गुरु, ज्ञान को सिखावे गुरु. पाप से बचावे गुरु, ज्ञान को सिखावे गुरु. ब्रह्म से मिलावे गुरु, तुर्य पद ध्यान में. ब्रह्म से मिलावे गुरु, तुर्य पद ध्यान में. गुरु ब्रह्म रूप जानो, शिव का स्वरूप मानो. गुरु ब्रह्म रूप जानो, शिव का स्वरूप मानो. यह श्रुति वेद कहता, गुरु बिना ज्ञान कैसा. यह श्रुति वेद कहता, गुरु बिना ज्ञान कैसा. ज्ञान बिना मुक्ति कैसे आवे तेरे ध्यान में. ज्ञान बिना मुक्ति कैसे आवे तेरे ध्यान में. गुरु ब्रह्म रूप जानो, शिव का स्वरूप मानो. गुरु ब्रह्म रूप जानो, शिव का स्वरूप मानो. छल कपट त्याग दीजे, गुरु जी की सेवा कीजे. सद्गुरु की शरण लीजे खेलिए मैदान में।
सद्गुरु की शरण लीजे खेलिए मैदान में।
गुरु ब्रह्म रूप जानो शिव का स्वरूप मानो।
गुरु ब्रह्म रूप जानो शिव का स्वरूप मानो।
शिव का स्वरूप मानो।
शिव का स्वरूप मानो।
ॐ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। असतो मा सद्गमय